I'd just like to say before this video begins, thank you to everyone on screen for helping me out making these videos and just supporting me. Enjoy the rest of the video. Sorry for disrupting your broadcasting. In this video, we are going to be seeing what France forms an empire in our modern age. France is a very strong country in Europe and is actually one of the strongest countries in the world, having a very sparse history, as well as, well, being one of the most nations in the world to either be in a revolution or be at war with one of her neighbors. A famous example of this is the Napoleonic Wars, the war of the 7 Years' War, I think, World War One, World War Two, the Franco-Prussian War, and yeah, and today France is done with everybody's bullshit. And France's government, which is right now in a big strike protest, if you have seen the news, France has recently fallen into a kind of a, how do I say this? Civil war? Not civil war, more protest. But in this universe, France has fallen to the monarchist, and monarchies have taken back over the country. And in this video, we're going to see how that affects the country and her neighbors. Now I know France controls a lot of things abroad, like one of these areas over here, which is French Guiana, I think. They own many islands abroad, but we are not talking about their colonial gains that they still have today. And remember, wars and conflicts and nations and not nations, sorry, alliances and relations are all not really used in these type of videos as it would really not be realistic. As in, if France declared war on Germany, we all know NATO would join and everybody would hate France, blah blah blah. So they will be removed for this video. Now, the first country France will be invading in this video is its small little neighbor, which I'm pretty sure no one really knows that much of, Monaco. Now, Monaco is not a circle. None of these things are a circle. Andorra's not a circle. Monaco's not a circle. Luxembourg's its right shape. You can't see it. San Marino, Vatican City, Liechtenstein. They're not circles. They have their own borders, but because of how small they are, they're shown as circles. Now, Monaco's military really evolves off of France. It has, I think, 82 military personnel, probably a little bit more, but most of them are French, and they really rely on France to keep them safe. But since France is against them in this video, well, that was quite easy. Now, France has some pretty powerful neighbors. It has Switzerland, which is pretty much just all mountain. It has Germany, which is Germany. It has, the beautiful country of Italy down here. It has the UK across the English Channel. It has who else do they have? Oh yeah, they've got Belgium against Spain. They got Portugal, which I'm pretty sure these two are pretty close, even though in history they are not. But I think the next country they would go for is another mini country on their borders, which is the wonderful country of Andorra. Now, like Switzerland, I think Andorra is pretty mountainous actually, because this entire area is mountains. But I don't think Andorra has that strong of a military, especially not compared to France. And so, in this video, at least, Andorra would get pretty wiped out quite quickly by the French forces. After these two glorious invasions, France starts looking up to her north, which has the country of Belgium. Now, Belgium would probably be invaded because Belgium has a lot of French speakers. But as well, Belgium would not like this. While some people would start to join to the French side, again, they're French speakers and some of them are French supporters, and is in they would like to join France. They would not. They would try to fight back, their military at least, and their nearby neighbor of Luxembourg would probably join as well. Now, you might think this may pose a little bit more of a threat to France compared to her other neighbors, which it kind of does, but we have to look. On February 1st, 2023, Belgium doesn't have any tanks left. Belgium got rid of all their tanks. They sent most of their main battle tanks to help Ukraine in Russia's invasion of the Russian-Ukrainian war, sorry, in defending Ukraine. So they don't have any weapons left, no any armored divisions left, and so France starts to really just steamroll through with this invasion plan of theirs. Luxembourg didn't pose a threat at all and will be instantly wiped out by the French forces, while France would start to push more up, taking rid of their entire coastline and just, yeah, Belgium didn't stand a chance against the larger French forces. With France really just done with, you know, with a few of their neighbors, they would head for a different area inside of Europe, which is the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands is a lot stronger than, well, Belgium and Luxembourg, but would not really, again, pose a threat to the large, well, French forces, as France is a lot stronger than this country. And so I'm pretty sure in this timeline, France would just kind of steamroll through up towards the large city of Amsterdam. France's push into this wonderful country would be quite swiftly, as they use GTIAs, which have their commands and logistics company, tanks companies, three infantry companies, and of course their engineering company, which means they're going to have three infantry regiments, one armored regiment, an infantry engineer regiment, and their commanders and logistics people moving them through, having themselves their mini armies that can just push through large areas quite quickly, and not really using supply convoys as they have been really just outdated, as they would go through and just take land from, well, not take land, but take supplies from the Netherlands cities. With the Amsterdam area being pretty much cut off, the rest of this great country would pretty much fall until Amsterdam would soon fall in 2 months. With France taking over a large part of their neighbors, they started to look actually south, more south, towards Africa, having a large influence over their old African colonies. The first country they would invade, though, in Africa is the country of Tunisia. Now, I love Tunisia. I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. I love their flag. They have Carthage, which is the capital of, well, Carthage, and it's just a beautiful place. But for this video, I will have to invade one of my favorite African countries, so France can continue their conquest. With French ships bombarding the coast and planes flying overhead, they would invade into the southern portion, which I'm pretty sure a lot of it is just coast and, of course, desert. I have been saying it wrong. It's Tunisia, sorry. But they would continue to push through and take a lot of this desert area, cutting most of it off and just sweeping through most of their southern areas, which they are scared because of Algeria and Libya. And they would use supply convoys because there's nothing really out in a desert. And so they would easily push up Tunisia towards the capital of Tunis, which is about right here. Now, why didn't they invade in the beginning? Because that would be a quick war, because there's really nothing like there's really nothing like past this coastline. There's nothing, like nothing at all past the coast. All of this is just straight desert. And a complete wipeout of the country would start to happen, with people either joining France or running towards the capital to hide and be protected by the military, until the siege of Tunis would happen. So, with Tunisia's area really just being a lot of desert and coastline, they would start to get easily wiped out, with this large peninsula over here and their capital being surrounded, with the rest of the area really falling. Now, they were in a bad spot. As you can tell, their capital is almost taken. But one nation nearby who knew they were going to be next to fall would join in, which was the country of Algeria. Now, Algeria declared war on France for many reasons. One, they want pretty much just, if they can win this, they can probably try to convince Tunisia to join them, gaining more coastline. But as well, they were scared of France, thinking that France would take them over next, which was France's strategy, of course. And so French troops would instantly start to take their coastline, as most French troops are either over at the capital or on this border. But I'm thinking, why not down here? Because let's look at Algeria real quick. Algeria is big, really big, but past this line, nothing. This is all desert. Most of this is desert, while their coastline as well. Coastline, which is sands and green. And so France would start to take easy work of their coastline, while slowly but surely pushing downwards into Algeria. With them continuing to push, quite quickly actually, like dang, they would soon surround the capital and would try to take the rest of the coastline. The rest of the country would either fall into civil war or would join France's side, and so we're just going to say, for the likes of this video, all of this would just fall to France, while the rest would either start their own civil war or try to get independence from the Algerian government. Because, people like power. The rest of the coastline would fall, with many naval invasions taking part, and they will all connect, making Algeria no longer have a coast. Tunis would soon fall, and Tunisia was out of the war. And so they would start to slowly put down rebellions for years and years on end until the capital of Algeria would fall and pretty much all of Algeria was taken over. Let's look at this beautiful peace treaty, shall we? So after that war, Algeria is split into 3 different zones. The red being a fully part of France, Tunisia would be fully annexed, the purple is a French puppet state, and France did not take all of their coastline as they want their puppet state to be able to still get supplies and have a little bit of, profits. But there was a revolution, which this area right here, one sec, which is this area, got their independence. And France doesn't really want to fight into a desert warfare right now, and so they let them keep their independence. Their borders might change as this video goes on because I like to change my borders. So the next country that, well, France is going to invade is the beautiful country of Morocco. Now, on military standpoints, Morocco is very much weaker than Algeria. Not very much weaker, but is weaker than Algeria. Meaning that Morocco is going to be an easier pushover for the large French empire that has started to form. And this large border is really going to help. Because again, this purple is a part of France as a French colony. And so French forces would instantly start to push in to, well, take all of Morocco. With the continued push into sub-Saharan Africa, not sub-Saharan, just Sahara Africa, yeah. French forces would really start to run out of resources, and so large shipments would start to come in through Morocco and Algerian ports, and it would take a while to get to the southern areas. And so France needed a new port, more specifically in southern Morocco. And so the French Navy would start to come down and would take this port right here. Is there a city there? I have no idea. In this universe, yes, there's a city there. With most of southern Morocco being wiped out, well, a cutoff would happen, which would wipe out all of southern Morocco. Morocco is really in a tight situation as French forces are closing in from all sides, with Morocco creating two spearheads to join in the middle, wiping out a large area as well. I think I said Morocco did that. I have no idea. These are in clips. I hope I said France. If I said Morocco, I'm sorry. I meant France. And French troops would continue to push upwards and getting closer and closer to the capital of Rabat. I like saying that word, Rabat. Anyway, the continued taking of coastline in the northern regions would continue to happen, and large quantities of area would be taken by French forces to hopefully one day make this into a colony. They would continue to push towards Rabat and would soon hopefully put it into a siege for French forces, at least, is hopefully. And so, again, more land would be taken until the siege of Rabat, until Morocco has fallen. And let's see these borders changes, shall we? Now, as you can tell, Morocco's gone. Sorry, Monaco and Morocco sound very similar. Morocco's gone. Morocco has joined the United French Colonies, which the flag should be on screen now. Hopefully, future me can edit that stuff in. Please, bro, get a life. You're gonna need one. And so the next country that would be invaded is well, of course, Spain, as Spain is France's lower neighbor and now has a very weak standpoint against France, as France would usually have to invade through these mountains, but now they have southern coastline to invade Spain from. Now, right as this war begins, an area known as the Canary Islands, which are these islands, that are controlled by Spain, would instantly, and I mean instantly, call up France, say, hey boy, we ain't fighting this one, aka I don't want to make a naval invasion over here. And after that, invasion of Spain would start to commence with this little area, which I forgot what the strait was called, would be a used area for a invasion of Spain. which is actually I like this idea. It's a pretty smart idea. While these islands over here, which I have no idea what these are called, would instantly also fall to France. And so Spain would start to lose territory. Now Spain is the hardest country that France has invaded yet so far. But France has some ideas using, again, like I said earlier, um, shoot, what are they called again? GTIAs, which are the Joint Tactical Groups. Again, like I said, they have the tank regiments, three infantry regiments, engineer regiments, and of course their chain of command. They would use these tactics to quickly push through Spain, and again, they would instead of using supply convoys, they would use Spanish cities for resources. With many more naval invasions across this little eastern coast, they would connect the two armies quite quickly, and a large push into Spain would begin. And one country in particular is actually quite scared of this large, well, forming empire, which is Portugal. And Portugal, not really wanting to be invaded, would become an ally towards, well, the beautiful country of France. And so Portuguese forces would also start to push in, hopefully wanting to gain some land out of this struggling, well, Spanish kingdom. So now with French and Portuguese forces both pushing into Spain, Spain was really much in a pickle, not really having the military force to take down both of these, well, large nations. They would start to capitulate under themselves. With again Portuguese and French forces pushing through, a lot of areas would start trying to declare independence at least, and these areas will be shown right now. With Catalonia getting their independence but still being under French occupation for the time being, as France wanted to, well, keep them occupied until they are done with Spain. And so, France, seeing that, oh, they have the upper hand, they would try to, at least, again, try to push out so Portugal would hopefully not get that much land out of this. And so French forces would push forward, making it so Portuguese forces couldn't really gain that much more land from this war, as they didn't want a Portuguese empire starting to form. And in a matter of months, Spain was slowly being constricted pretty much, with large areas being wiped out quite quickly. And again, in a matter of months, Madrid was in eyesight. They could see Madrid. And so, again, full wipeout until it was just Madrid. I know that's not Madrid's exact location, but it's not on the map. Until Madrid would last for another month until it eventually falls. Let's see these map borders, shall we? France would gain a large sum of territory. So would Portugal, actually. Even though France did not want Portugal to gain that much territory, but Portugal would have a large, what to say? What's to say? Frick, influence during the peace talks. While Catalonia would lose their independence soon after, with Catalonia falling to French society. Soon enough, France would be looking at themselves a new enemy, an enemy which we all know and love, to their southern regions, which is, of course, Italy. With French troops quickly moving in, wanting to take as much territory as they possibly could, of course, they would push through the Alps, which is one of the hardest places for them to push, trying to get to, of course, the Italian plains. While all this is happening, Sardinia would soon fall, and a invasion of Sicily would begin. This is going a lot better for France than it did in World War II, with again France pushing through and taking a pretty much almost all of northern Italy. They would start pushing down the peninsula quite quickly. I don't think wouldn't Italy have a larger pushback against France? Well, France is a lot bigger now, having some areas of Spain, having Netherlands, Belgium, a large part of all of Tunisia actually, and a large part of Algeria. That they are pretty unstoppable now, and would easily push through Italy, taking all of Sicily in a matter of days and touching the boot. The invasion of San Marino, the city state, would also soon happen, and the push towards Rome. As French troops continued to push up the boot and down the boot, they would soon see some large armies as they head towards Rome, as a lot of Italian people would start to, well, hate being French. And so some areas started to fight back with civilians trying to, stop the French from invading. But the French, being a lot more prepared and a lot stronger, would easily take out some of these areas and would continue their push down. But as they surrounded Rome, they would be put into a large siege. They would try to wipe out a lot more areas, but Italy was split into three, as all three areas were very much under siege, with trench warfare actually still being used during this time. Bombers handed to Italy by Germany would help them, well, support a chain connecting two of their areas and pushing back the French a little bit until they started to connect to Rome. With bombers and fighter aircraft and Italy's support, with a lot of nations around Europe giving Italy, giving Italy guns like Germany, Poland, Ukraine, because in this universe, Ukraine won the Russian-Ukrainian War, the Russo-Ukrainian War, Turkey, and Egypt were all trying to help out Italy to stop this large French empire. But soon enough, France would get a foothold again and would again start to push back, start to do another push in until Italy was pretty much stuck in this little situation. They would be cut into two and wiped out of another area, and over a couple of months, they would slowly get pushed back into Rome. But Rome was very much well defended. All of their troops had been moved there, planes were fighting in the skies, tanks, artillery, everything. Rome was the bloodiest battle during France's great expansion, until finally Rome would fall to the French forces. And Italy would be criticized by the French and would be humiliated by these peace treaties. With Italy being humiliated, with their beautiful city of Rome being taken into French control, and, well, southern Italy would not become a French puppet in this universe, but would have to pay a lot in reparations, over $1 trillion in reparations to France. France would start looking to other neighbors as they wanted to expand their influence even more, and their next invasion strategist would be one of the worst ideas they've ever made, declaring war on Switzerland. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would this be France's worst decision so far? Because as we all know, Switzerland is a independent country. Well, not independent, sorry. Neutral country, meaning they don't get involved in foreign affairs, meaning a lot of countries like them. And so a few countries would join onto Switzerland's aid, which would be Germany, Austria, and of course, the United Kingdom. Now, in my opinion, the biggest threat to France at the moment is Germany and the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has a very strong navy. I know you can have funny joke throughout history. UK's got best navy. It still has a strong navy even nowadays. And Germany is Germany, the economic superpower of Europe. Everyone has tried to stop her so many times. The Franco-Prussian War, World War One, World War Two, the Cold War, and yet she still keeps rising because of the area that she is in. But wait, sorry, he is in. I forgot. It's the fatherland, not the motherland. I got yelled at from one video. My last video, I got yelled at by a German for calling it a she. Sorry. Sorry for assuming a country's gender. I read your comments. Um, and so France is really in a pickle as this large coalition against France would start to have an impact on her. With French forces pushing into Switzerland, of course, but of course being again stuck in a siege because mountains. That is all Switzerland is mountains. I'm pretty sure they've already taken the capital on accident. I'm sorry. But even if they did take the capital already, Switzerland is still going to be intact because of the Swiss spirit. Austria is not a threat at all. The mountains don't really touch that much around here, and is just a really easy push through, giving them another area to invade into Switzerland with. But as they continued to push towards the Austrian capital, they would see a lot more resistance and would be forced to stop. While they should start pushing into southern Germany, as a lot of German forces are on this line right here. And so Germans start to push in to France, trying to get a large foothold on it. But they would soon all be pushed back by French forces, because, well, again, France in this timeline has been buffed, but is also the largest country in Europe, other than Russia. And so the French also started to push in using the same tactic I said earlier, which I will not say again because it's hard for me to remember, and would continue to push into Germany, making a few naval invasions here and there. But they cannot cross the English Channel, as the United Kingdom has full control over it, like in history it always does. But this little British boy would have a large problem on their threat. With again, like the Napoleonic Wars, France is good at normal warfare, aka land warfare, while the United Kingdom is good at sea. And so the French used a wonderful idea, taking down all British aircraft over the English Channel, getting full air superiority, and using paratroopers to land on this little peninsula right here, and doing a large push into the United Kingdom, but would also soon be stopped by a siege. Well, not a siege, but a stalemate. There it is. Switzerland would soon also start to see a large fall, as a lot of Swiss troops would be pushed into Germany, and Germany was also being pushed back, while Austria would soon be cut off from Germany and would be forced to capitulate to the French forces. Germany would again start to continue to be pushed back until French forces get stopped again, because again Germany is very strong economically and militaristically, and would be stuck like this the rest of the war. While the United Kingdom, France would start to gain a little bit, make like I don't know, like two naval invasions like here and there, but would also be stuck in siege, and would need a new idea to win this war. Well, they already are winning, but their two enemies are already being stuck. They're already stuck in a siege with them. Now, with Algeria knowing that they are next, 100%, they would join in and would try to stop France. And so French forces, of course, like they would start to push into Algeria. Now, look at this map. Algeria is a lot bigger of a country, but also they have the same problem as Tunisia. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce stuff. They coastline. Coastline is this is all their most of their people live on the coast. This is all desert. Please don't tell me. With this siege continuing to happen, France has an idea. Even though this wouldn't happen in real life, I'm 100% sure. But again, this video is way too long already, I'm pretty sure. And so the United Kingdom would capitulate as France would threaten the bombing of London, which would destroy a lot of infrastructure for their civilians. And so France would keep the occupied areas until they are done with Germany. Germany, also known as Deutschland, would again continue to be pushed back as they are now fighting Austrians, Swiss, Italians, Spanish, Tunisians, Algerians, Portuguese on all fronts versus just the Germans, which is meaning that France is a much larger population than Germany, and the Germans would continue to be pushed back until on the 6th of November, 2028, the Germans would capitulate and would surrender. With all of this done, France had done it, taking over a large part of Germany's industrial area, pretty much just shooting the United Kingdom in the foot. Well, no, I'm sorry. A big fuck you to the United Kingdom by taking a bit of land. Austria and Switzerland being fully underneath French control. France, I forgot to give France an ally in Italy and a pro-French government in Germany. France is really a strong empire. And are they done? Are they finally done after this minutes long video? One more. Two more. And that would be Slovenia and Croatia. Now another thing, why Slovenia and Croatia? One reason I want the map to look pretty and I don't care yeah. Damn. France kicked us in that war. That was such a detailed war. You should subscribe. With the French being victorious, this large empire over on this side of Europe, having many allies, aka just colonies that are semi independent. They're large colonies over the African continent, and a much larger influence over Europe. The creation of the Western European allies would be created, and the map is on screen now. Please, future me, again, get a life. Would be created, showing the unity of Western Europe. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. I'm sorry if I uh, messed up a few things. Dawn, thank you to Dawn for telling me a few things about France I did not know. I'm sorry, Dawn, that I cannot show everything because there is so much. But I have a future video being planned, which will use some of your ideas. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Thank you.